General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has said the federal government would not adopt the policy of naming and shaming in disclosing the identities of suspected financiers of terrorism activities. This, Malami said, was because the federal government acknowledges the constitutional right of such suspects to the presumption of innocence and would rather charge them to court than for their identities to be made public in court. The federal government has, for some months now, announced the arrest of some financiers of terrorism, some of them allegedly bureau de change operators. Malami said the complex case group of the Department of Public Prosecution of the Federation in the Federal Ministry of Justice has reviewed over 1,000 Boko Haram case files, out of which 285 have been charged before the Federal High Court based on prima facie cases of terrorism against them. He explained that the prosecution of such cases was delayed because of the COVID-19 lockdown, judiciary staff union strike, and court vacation. Malami, according to a statement by his special advisor on media and public relations, Umar Gwandu, spoke while addressing journalists on the sidelines of the ongoing 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The Senate on Wednesday passed the 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure and fiscal strategy paper, retaining all the assumptions and projections submitted to it by the President Muhammadu Buhari in July. The right chamber retained the exchange rate of 410 naira 15 kobo per dollar proposed by the executive and also approved the projected gross domestic product growth rate of 4.20%. The Senate retained the projected inflation rate of 13% fiscal deficit estimate of 5.62 trillion naira. Buhari's projected new borrowings of 4.89 trillion naira, including foreign and domestic borrowing, were also retained and approved. Also, the $3.5 billion International Monetary Fund loan at the rate of 0.01% to 0.02% proposed by the President was also approved to shore up the internal borrowing and to reduce external borrowing because of the exchange rate risks. The Senate retains the federal government's 2022 revenue projection of 8.36 trillion naira and expenditure of 13.98 trillion naira. Staying with the Senate has passed two bills for the establishment of an orthopedic hospital in Dekina, Kogi State, and Federal College of Education, Omo Ekiti, Ekiti State. The approval of the two bills was sequel to the consideration of two separate reports by the Senate Committees on Health and Tertiary Institutions and the TET Fund. The reports were presented by Senators Yahaya Olori-Egbe and Nora Dadut. Olori-Egbe in his presentation observed that Nigeria is one of the densely populated countries in the world which is plagued with poverty and an exceedingly high burden of disease. He explained that orthopedic hospitals are important in improving health care in patients, adding that locating one in Dekina would bring health care closer to residents of densely populated urban and rural communities. Staying with parliamentary issues, the House of Representatives on Wednesday indicated its willingness to investigate the probable exclusion of Rivers State from the list of states to benefit from the federal government's borrowings. This is sequel to a motion of urgent public importance by Representative Solomon Bob, alleging that Rivers is the only state out of the 36 states to be left out. The lawmaker further alleged discrimination against Rivers State, which contributes enormously to the federation account. The House has mandated its Committee on Aids and Loans to liaise with the Presidency to include Rivers State in the loans if it is found to be the only state that has been excluded. The Rep's move is coming 2 days after Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike described as an act of discrimination the alleged refusal of the federal government to include Rivers as one of the states that would benefit from projects for which it was seeking fresh foreign loans to execute. On to some political issues now. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has rescheduled its nationwide state congresses, earlier slated for October 2nd. The exercise has now been rescheduled for Saturday, October 16th, 2021. While no reason was advanced for the postponement, it was gathered that it was due to logistics challenges and the need to carry every stakeholder along. The disclosure was contained in a statement issued Wednesday in Abuja and signed by the National Secretary of its Critical Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Senator John James. He said an updated timetable of activities and guidelines for the conduct of the state congresses will be released to the public in due course. The party had on September 4th conducted its nationwide local government congresses, having conducted its ward congress the previous week. Coming up in a moment on our business news, bears sustain dominance as the Nigerian bourse loses 11.02 billion naira. Details in a moment after the short break. Stay with us, please.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business. The gains and the losses. The bulls and bears. The rise and falls. The risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the money market, forecast, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
Welcome back. You're still on to News Dawn on 92.7 KUFM Benin City, and over now to business, where at the end of Wednesday's trading session, the Nigerian exchange market closed negative amid sell-offs and buy interest as the benchmark all-share index depreciated by 5 basis points, while the market capitalization decreased by 11.02 billion naira. The all-share index closed at 38,852.69 points to reflect a loss of 0.05% from the previous trading day. At the close of market, Wednesday, 22nd September 2021, the stock exchange market value currently stands at 20.24 trillion naira from 20.25 trillion naira in the previous trading day. The market breadth closed negative as Trans Cohort led 13 gainers and 17 losers, topped by Veritas Cap at the end of Wednesday's session. The stock market has declined minus 1,418.03 base points since the start of the year. Market sentiments trend towards the bears, with the market differential being in favor of the decliners as 13 gainers were surpassed by 17 losers. And that's it on business. Over on to sports, where West Ham have knocked Manchester United out of the Carabao Cup. Chijen Toro has got details of this and more in our sports bulletin this morning. Stay with us, please.
Thank you, Charles. West Ham gained revenge for Sunday's Premier League defeat against Manchester United by knocking their hosts out of the Carabao Cup at the Old Trafford. Manuel Lanzini's 9th-minute goal, his first goal in almost 12 months and only his second since May 2019, proved enough to take David Moyes' men into the last 16. Lanzini's goal was just reward for West Ham's flying start. Ryan Fredericks passed between Jadon Sancho and Alex Telles before cutting a low cross back to the Argentine, who finished into the bottom corner. And elsewhere, Eddie Hearn says Anthony Joshua is desperate to fight Tyson Fury and fulfill his dream of becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. Fury was forced to shelve plans to fight Joshua after being ordered by an arbitrator to face Deontay Wilder, leaving fans gutted to see the undisputed showdown fall through. Team AJ has blamed Team Fury for the fight collapsing, while Fury's co-promoter Frank Warren has repeatedly insisted a deal was never signed. Joshua opted to face his WBO mandatory Usyk after Fury signed to fight Wilder again, and then revealed the 31-year-old would never entertain relinquishing one of his titles. Joshua defends his WBA Super, IBF and WBO belts against Alexander Usyk next, and AJ's promoter says he would be shocked if the Fury fight did not happen. And that's it here from our sports test. Thanks for listening. I'll hand you back to Charles Laporum for a wrap-up of the news.
Thank you very much, Igende, for those sports stories. And of course, with those sports stories, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, a quick recap of the headlines. Governor Obaseki charges communication officers to build trust with the people through their messages. Reps to probe probable exclusion of rivers from benefiting states in federal government borrowings. An APC postpones nationwide state congresses to October 16th. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Lebedum Asagwaram I am Charles, Upper Room, saying thanks for listening. And